So, hello everybody, Snow Matrix back again. Another lockdown. I think this is the third one. So this is a little update to my Reef tank build. I started this tank during the first lockdown back in March. So I thought I'll make another video, show you guys, or anyone that's interested, how the tank is getting on. I haven't really added a lot of stuff, but I think you can see it's growing nicely. Those are my two leather corals. They're called levers for anyone that doesn't know, because if you touch them they feel like old leather but they don't like being touched, so they'll soak for about a week if you touch them with your hands. But these corals are out in captivity and out in the wild. These can live for hundreds of years. Well, that's what they think currently. So these are very ancient animals. This is a light sensitive Gregorian, I think. I'm not too hot on all these names, but I know how to look after them. Some of these need feeding, but this one just can grow from light alone, so it doesn't need any additional feeding, but it does take stuff out the water column as well. Up there, those green things are candy canes. I bought these about in July, and I thought I killed them because I put them down at the bottom and they virtually disappeared, but I moved them up here. I know they're a bit too close to that lever. I'm going to move them again to the right, but they've recovered. They're doing okay. This is a Kenya tree. This is all right, but my tang kind of nips at it sometimes, which is a bit naughty, but it's all right. These grow really easily in a reef tank. A lot of people consider these kind of like weeds, but I like it. I mean, my GSP always does well, although I've noticed my nitrates have dropped a bit. I usually like them around 25-30. I mean, the tank is maturing nicely and the filtration is coming along really well, and the nitrates have dropped to about 10-15, and the GSP, which stands for Green Star Polyp, doesn't like it. It likes a bit more nutrients in the water, and it's kind of not as happy as it normally is, but there's still plenty of growth there. You know, the main thing about Green Star Polyp, you've got to isolate it. Don't put it anywhere that touches the main rock, because it'll spread like wildfire on there and then it'll be out of control. But here you can easily cut it, glue it onto a frag plug and then give it away or sell it. You know, some entrepreneur people sell them on eBay and all that kind of stuff, but me, I don't do that kind of stuff. Some mushrooms, and that is a long polyp green leather. That was tiny when I bought it, so that is quite big now, but it's great. I think it grows much slower than the other ones, but I really like that coral. The mushrooms on that main rock, these are from my old aquarium. They're about 4 years old now, so I've got plenty there. They really look nice at night when the lights ramp down to just blues. They kind of fluoresce, really beautiful. That is my finger leather. I bought that in probably March, April maybe, I don't know, but it had one little finger, and now look at it. This is a very easy coral to frag as well. You know, it's a beginner coral to learn how to frag with. You can just get a little razor blade, cut one of those fingers off, stick them onto a frag plug, let it recover, and then you've got another coral. £20. So considering it cost me £20 to buy one finger, you can see how people make money out of this kind of hobby. Look how many fingers are there. Okay, this is a Euphyllia, or a hammer, which is like its more common name. This I've had from my old tank as well, and so it's probably about 2.5, 3 years old. It started out when I got it with one little head. Now there's a lot of heads in there. I'm also getting some kind of I don't know if you can see that. There's kind of like a bubble sac there. Opinions kind of varied on that, but I think most people say that is the Euphyllia reproducing and making another head, and that bubble sac is protecting it, something like that. But I'm not too sure about that. But it is, it's going okay. Some more mushrooms. These are the old ones as well. They've been growing for about 4 years. Loads of them there. Again, one of those, I started out with one of those about £25, and now there's must be about 50 of those there. So again, you can see the possibility to make money in this hobby. If anyone's wondering, the tank is a 400 litre system, so total water volume is about 400 litres. It's quite a deep tank. Still have plenty of room for fish. I haven't got a lot of fish. My top man in the tank, this is the tang. I'll only have one tang in this system because these are a swimming, pooping, eating machine. Yeah, this is all it does all day, and it produces a lot of waste. But luckily my filtration system can handle it, which I'll show you later. Step back a little bit. As you can see, there's kind of an optical illusion as well. When you look at this tank from straight on, it looks like it's not much width to it, but it's about 2 feet, 24 inches. It's about 24 inches across, but it doesn't look like that when you look at it from the front. Some kind of optical illusion going on. But let's go down into the sump. A lot of equipment down here. I've added dosing system which automatically doses certain liquids into the system. I'm dosing all for Reef, which is a lot of calcium, alkalinity and other stuff. If you know, we'll get a bit technical there. It's not really the point of this video. It's just like to show what's going on. But all for Reef has been working really well for me, keeping my alkalinity rock steady at 9 with about 4 millimeters a day for months. I've added an algae light reactor and another reactor. I'm growing Cheeto in there. It's not turned on now. It works when the main lights go off, so it's like on a reverse cycle to the tank lights. So when the tank lights go off, this comes on and grows the Cheeto in there. The next one, it's another reactor in there. I don't know if you can see that. It's quite a big one, and that's running carbon and Roaphos, and Purigen. Those are a great combination to control your nutrients. Probably why the nitrates have gone down to 15 since I've been running Purigen at about 100 grams of Purigen, which I think is for about 400 litres of water. It's a good amount, and that can last up to 6 months. So it's a good little tip if anyone has little problems with nitrates. Another change I've made this is like a DJ switch. So some of the tank's main components I can switch on and off with this. So when I have to clean stuff and I don't have to go rooting around in Cape Canaveral down there trying to find a plug, I can switch it off from here, take the machinery and clean it, because there's a lot of cleaning, there's a lot of maintenance to a reef tank. You can't just leave it running, leave the machines running with no maintenance, because salt water will destroy them eventually, if it, and the algae and all that kind of stuff will destroy your equipment. You've got to maintain it. There's a lot of work that goes into that. You either do it yourself or you pay someone to come and do it. Well, I do everything myself. I'm not part of the lazy reefers that no judging there, but some people just want a reef tank to look at, but they don't want to do the work, so they pay someone else to do the work, which is great if you want to go down that way. And they pay someone else to keep the water parameters stable, so they pay someone to come and do the water changes, to come and check all the water, do all the tests, which is another big aspect of keeping a reef tank. You've got to check the water, because really I know it's been said 100 times if you watch any reefing channels, but you're not keeping fish or corals, you're keeping water. That is the most important part of the hobby. You've got to understand. It's all about the water, because you're trying to recreate one of the most sensitive environments on earth, inside the sea, inside your living room, or in my case my man cave. Because these fish, they are very sensitive to water changes, and the corals as well, and this is why I'm saying you need to keep the water as close to the ocean as possible. Now, I started keeping marine fish a long time ago, the 80s, when I was a boy. At that time, it was like the dark ages for keeping marine fish. There was no internet back then. All your information came from a book, or in my case, from a book. But if obviously I wasn't old enough to be able to join clubs, because there was like marine clubs around that time. But I was just, like I said, I was a kid, so I couldn't join any of those clubs. So normally my reef tank lasted about 6 months. I had a much bigger one at home, about 6-7 foot wide tank, but using tap water at those days. We didn't understand, equipment like I just showed, like that's a protein skimmer. Basically it uses bubbles and air to filter out the organics in the water. So that is what the fish poop out. It goes into the water column. The skimmer skims it out, skims all the proteins out. You empty that cup, so it takes the nutrients out the aquarium. Now, back in the 80s, those were thousands of pounds. Now those are hundreds of pounds. So you can see the difference now. Equipment for most people would have been out of their price range is now in their price range, and that's a decent one. You can get ones from from about 50-60 pounds. That is a CO2 scrubber. Divers use that, and some other medical things as well, but basically that scrubs the CO2 out of the air, and it then gets fed into the skimmer. So it's like, if you've got this skimmer, sorry about that, I pressed the stop recording button on my phone. What was I saying? Something about the skimmer. Anyway, don't want to get too technical, but that's doing a great job. Just one last look at this. Just some control things here. This is a new addition as well. That is a firmware view from a company called, what are they called? Reef Factory. Basically, that's just connected to the internet, and it's monitoring the temperature. It's not controlling the temperature. I have another temperature controller for that, but it's monitoring the temperature, so that will let me know if it passes set parameters. It's very important to know that, because the tank has to stay within a certain temperature, otherwise the fish and the corals will die. I've added a few fish as well. That's a coral beauty, beautiful fish. And how well phone can pick it up. That is a canary blenny, for obvious reasons. That's it. Those are just the 2 extra fish I've added since the last update. Oh, sorry, no, I forgot. Sorry, that red one is a pinstripe wrasse. I had some flatworms, not a lot, but I like to have natural solutions in the tank for any pests like a flatworm. I'm not one for putting chemicals and all that. I mean, if you watch a lot of reefing channels, they're all just like shrilling for this chemical and that chemical. So that fish eats flatworms, and it's been doing an okay job. I mean, it's brought the population right down. There's still a few about, but that's just keeping you know, a food source for it. You see the coral beauty also eats algae. Not a lot of it growing now. The tang, the reason I bought the tank back in my nano tank, because there was an outbreak of algae, and this fish decimated it in a few days, and it's never been seen since. Yeah, that's why now I've got to supplement its diet with nori, which is like seaweed. That's a clip I use. He thinks I'm gonna put some in there, that's why he's swimming around it, but he's a fat tang, so I've got to kind of put him on a little bit of a diet. He's too well fed. My Benagi cardinal hiding between the levers. That's nearly 4 years old, and supposedly in captivity they only lived around 3 years, so it's outlived its life expectancy. It looks a bit old now. It's got some what look like ulcers or something, or warts or something growing from the side of it, but that's been there for nearly a year. But it's still eating, still alive. Keeps itself to itself. As you can see, it's got massive eyes. It likes, well, it comes really alive at night, because it can, you know, it's like a nocturnal kind of fish. There he is. See, it's breathing a bit heavily as well, but nothing I can do about that. It's just nature. I don't think it's going to live for much longer, but it's still alive, it's still eating, it's not suffering, so just leave it alone. You're not getting any more food, so calm yourself. For now. Later, 6 o'clock is feeding time again. Got quite a lot of cleanup crew, quite a lot of snails. I've got my favourite snails are the zombie snails. You can't see them at the minute. There's a bit of diatoms on the sand, but that's fine. They live in the sand, they come out when they sense food or when they smell food, and they come out at night. So, but it's like the Night of the Living Dead. When they come out, they just appear from the sand, you know, like the zombies lifting up out the earth. Brilliant snails. I've got about 6 of them in there, in the sand. So that's basically it. So as you can see, even what's this, the 3rd lockdown? I was working through the 2nd lockdown. Work is a bit slow now, so I'm not working at the moment, but it'll pick up again. So stuck in London, but plenty of things to do to keep myself occupied, and this takes up a lot of time. So I'd just like to say, if you've watched this video, if you stayed this far, thanks a lot. Thanks for your continued support. Thanks for your own videos, if you make videos and put them on YouTube, because I've been watching a lot of that. Thanks for that, especially the people that can get out there who live close to the countryside, who can get out there and share their walking and stuff. I'm really enjoying watching those videos. So see you out there and on YouTube.